There we go. I'm not sure if it liked my microphone settings or something this evening, I guess. Huzzah! Hello PT and Mad Dog, I'm glad you can hear me. That went really well the first time I tried to start this stream, but enough of that. Let's restart and pretend none of that happened. None of it happened. So, R&D is the subject of this week's SPACEDOCK workshop, or Research and Development is the full name of it, there you go. So, R&D, what is it? Well, as the name suggests, it is a system that players can use to develop their own beams and cannons and weapons and so on and so forth that you can see here. I'm just going to give a brief rundown of what each of these various categories can give. I will start at the bottom of the list and work my way up. So, special projects. As you can see here, the Omega slivers, shards, fragments and technologies are crafted in this menu. You get them from the Omega events during the anniversary, or you can purchase them from the marketplace. They can be pretty expensive though, so might be best if you're just really wanting them to grind them out the hard way in the events, as it's so much fun, trust me, it's really fun. Anyway, officer training. This is where, as you can see here, you get the specialization qualification items which you use on your duty officers to give them that specialization. You can see here there's various crafting components needed to them. I'll go more in detail as to what each of them, well, not every single one of them, but what it means when I say components and various other terminologies. You can also craft the training manuals for the various bridge officers for their various many specializations that are now in the game, as well as some that the captain will get based on their skills, and some that you can get from completing missions. Working my way up the list here, you can see there's some shields where, well, you get shields. Your science, where you've got your deflectors, your secondary deflectors and the science consoles. Projectiles, as it says there. Kits, you can craft the new, or relatively new, passive kit modules, as well as the kit frames and some various kit modules of the engineering themselves. Ground weapons, self-explanatory. Engineering, you've got your engineering consoles, your armor for the ground, and the various ship components such as impulse engines and warp cores. Cannons, well, there you go, and beams, there we are. Also, once you've selected a project to craft, so I'll just slot a nice quick one here, there we go, Mark II anti-proton beam array. It then goes to the in progress, and you can see a countdown, and you can spend your dilithium to finish them quicker if you so choose, although I wouldn't recommend it for something like this. I can wait the next 4 minutes to get that crafted, it'll be fine. So, bit more detail. You don't just click a button and get a beam array, unfortunately. It's a bit more in depth than that. So, what do I need? Well, first off, as you can see in this very cluttered menu, I've got a lot of materials here. Now, you can, like with most things in this game, buy them off the market. They're relatively cheap because they're quite easy to come by, and as you can see, as playing the game and buying them off the market, like I've done a little bit here with the geranium and magnesite, I've bought a stack of those just to help with crafting. They're very cheap, but you can get them as well just from the various space anomalies and ground anomalies that you will find in your mission. You'll come up with I guess a mini game, if you will, to scan them. You have a limited amount of time, and at the end of it you're rewarded with a random collection of various materials, sorry. The materials, once you've got them, you then need to use them in the R&D system to craft components. So as you can see here, this focusing lens, one of the two components, along with targeting interfaces that I needed, in that Mark II beam array. There you go. You can see here that I needed one targeting interface and one focusing lens. As you can see in my inventory, I've got quite a lot of both of those because I make quite a lot of beams, because you can never have too many beam arrays either to use or to, get some energy credits from. But more on that later. So if you do click on a beam array, let's go to a slightly higher mark one. Let's just whack it on the top one, why not? You'll see here, as the mark of the item is increased, there is more components that I will need when crafting them, and that scales up. As you can see there, from Mark II I only needed one of each of those. It scales all the way up to needing even some very rare components such as isolinear chips. Now, one thing to note with the very rare crafting components, you will need dilithium to make them. So that's one reason why, if you're crafting, especially if you're just starting to craft, you're probably going to want to stick with the lower marks. Now let's just say I didn't have any focusing lenses. I can click on it in that previous menu, the beam array. If I didn't have it, it would have been red, or shaded red. And it takes me to the crafting screen for the focusing lens. Now, I'm just going to run through some of the features on this page, because they're on all of them, and it's helpful to know when you're crafting what you're going to get. So, I got a quantity bar, so I can craft up to 5 at a time, and as you see, as I raise and lower the quantity, it raises and lowers the quantity of the materials that I will need. Bit my tongue there, sorry about that. Another thing you'll see here is the critical and the success. Now, then, the game isn't cruel enough that you'll just straight up fail to make a focusing lens. That'll be a bit of a waste of everyone's time, unfortunately. So, a success just means that if I'm crafting 1, I will get 1. If I get a critical success, I'll get 3. And same with 2, a success gives me 2 and a critical gives me 6. It triples when you get a critical success. Now, how do I improve that critical success? Well, there are 2 ways. One, as you can see here, my beams are the maximum level of the school, level 20. That will take you a long time to get, but it's very worth it. As you can see there, I have 200 base skill in beams. Also, the higher quality or higher rarity duty officers improve outcome, it says right there. That's very nice of them. So, as you can see here, the different level of duty officer will give you different amounts. If I had a common one, it would give me only 5 skill boost in the particular school. Rare is 15, very rare 30. No ultra rare duty officers are used at this time, but I imagine if they did, they'd give you an even higher boost. Maybe one day Cryptic will add that. So, let's say that I didn't have very rare duty officers and I didn't have level 20. One thing you can get from opening R&D boxes, other than the components and the materials, is catalysts that you see here. So I can select them and slot them in, and as you can see there, it's boosted up my current skill. So I've now got an effective skill of 330 because level 20 in beams, plus 30 from the duty officer, and plus 50 from each of those catalysts. And as you can see there, it's boosted my chance for critical success to 54%. But I'm not going to use that there. These are very quick. You can see there it's 4 seconds, and well, now down to, and it's done. There we go, nice and quick. And boom, there we go. That's a focusing lens. I'll then use the focusing lens, get my beam array. There we go. Got a nice beam array. sort of. It's very rare at least. And it's got a damage modifier, so I'll give it that much. Also, one thing to note, let's say I'd got this as a mission reward, I can right click, hit salvage. Yes, I do want to salvage, and there we go. I've got some salvage, and I've got a crafting component. They're all randomized. Sometimes you'll get more salvage, less crafting components, but you'll always get at least some crafting components and some salvage, which again, you can use those components and the materials that you get from breaking down higher mark and higher rarity items to get more stuff to craft more things. It's nice and cyclical like that. So, let's have a look at one of the advantages of the R&D system, at least for weapons, is, as you can see on this tooltip, I've got the pen modifier. Now that is a 10 armor penetration. It's not the only one that you can get from crafting. You can also get over or rapid and various others. You can experiment. It depends on the school as well. Like obviously you won't get overcharge on a deflector dish. You won't. But you can get certain modifiers like Control X, which is a mixture of crit H and crit D, so critical severity and critical chance, which is very nice. Another thing to note, with your crafted beams or cannons, etc., you can re-engineer them. And as we can see here, these three modifiers, which are some of the regular modifiers, you can re-roll them, and the crafted modifiers, you cannot roll out of them or roll into them. So unfortunately I couldn't have, say, anti-proton dual heavy cannon Mark 14 pen times 4. That would probably break the game and make me cry of happiness as well. So, R&D. How can you level this up? Two ways. One is by quite simply just making the items. It will give you, as you can see here, this Mark II anti-proton mag regulator will give me 50 cannon experience in the 5 minutes it takes to create. So after 5 minutes I collect the item, I get my experience, and slowly but surely it will level up. Obviously, if you've got a higher mark item, you'll get a lot more. So this wide arc anti-proton dual heavy cannon Mark 12 is going to give me, if I craft it, 12,000 experience points, but will take 20 hours. That's another thing to note. The higher the mark, the obviously, as I said, more cost, and the more likelihood of a lower quality item, and the longer it will take. So if you are crafting weapons to stack onto your ship, so for example, I've got 4 damage 3 pen beam arrays that I've made, and a damage 2 pen arc omnidirectional phaser beam array that I've made for this ship. So you're going to want to craft at a lower mark, because as you can see there, with a level 20 school, and even with only a rare quality duty officer, I have a 100% chance to make a very rare beam array. Unfortunately, you can't craft everything at Mark 12, so the lowest for the omnidirectional beam array that I've just mentioned there, and as you see, you can pick any flavour from the base weapon types. They craft at Mark 12 and Mark 12 only. Another thing to mention, as you can see here, you will see a level requirement that you will have to craft a particular item. So if I wasn't level 15, I wouldn't see this in the list, and well, until I was level 15. Like you see there, the energy amplifier at level 10, and the large weapon battery at level 5. Yeah, there we go. And some tech upgrades from level 5 to level 15. Now the crafting R&D system, you can use basically straight away. As soon as you get into the game, you can start, I want to make some dual cannons in Disruptor Mark II. you can do that. It's up to, as long as you have the stuff that you need to make it, you will make it. Yes, sorry, I completely forgot. I was just about to talk about these duty officers and I just completely glazed over. So, let's get back to that. Omnidirectional beams, the things you unlock at level 15, and the dual heavy cannons, and so on and so forth. The level 15 project, you will need a very particular duty officer to get. They are very hard to get. The easiest way is from the market, but they're probably going to be sold in the tens of millions of credits, and it's going to be crazy. But obviously you can, like with any other component, any other weapon that you can get from a drop or a craft, you can sell them. So you can probably find a omnidirectional anti-proton beam array on the market for pretty cheap nowadays, especially given the re-engineering system that we did a video on. Actually, I think it was about a month ago now. Wow. So yeah, you can buy these and sell these and make a bit of money off of it. And these duty officers are incredibly expensive. So, I believe I have covered most things, really. Oh, yep, sorry. The other way of leveling up the schools, you can see here, we've got these research projects and the technology, so example engineering ones. You slot them up. Because of my skill again, I've got a massive boost to the chance of a critical. 100% in fact, so I'll start this off. It costs only 1 magnesite, and that will be different depending on the school. So let's just set these off. There we go. So in 20 hours, there's no way to reduce this unfortunately, but in 20 hours I will have 21,000 engineering experience and 21,000 ground experience added to my levels. Unfortunately 21,000 is going to take me a long way from 19 to 20, but if you're a much lower level, for example if you're only level 5 say in a school, or level 2, you're going to basically level up from these. It's very cheap, very quick, and you can get higher mark and higher rarity gear from it. If you're not in a fleet, or even if you are, go to join a fleet, or if you're part of the Trek Yard, you can go to the Fleet Spire, I believe, and there is a 100,000 fleet mark and like 10,000 dilithium. I can't remember the price off the top of my head, I apologise. You will be able to unlock a 6th R&D slot. So as you level up in the research lab, in the research lab, you get the 6th slot. So that's how I've got 6 slots. Yeah, I said 100,000 fleet marks. Yeah, 100,000 fleet marks, you'll get this slot, and you unlock from... you unlock the other slots by just leveling up schools. So if you want to start early, I would recommend slotting in some of these projects. It will level up the schools. Once you get at least one school to level 5, you'll have unlocked most of these, and then you just go to the fleets and spend all those hard-earned fleet marks and some dilithium to get that 6th. Then you too can end up with damage 3 pen or crit D times 3 pen or whatever you like. Beam arrays and cannons, and you can make the Aegis set, which used to be pretty much an endgame set. Now it's not so much, but I would still, it's very cheap on the market. If you're a compulsive hoarder such as myself, then you can still go for that. And yeah, various items such as this, which is an incredibly powerful weapon you can craft and sell and make and do all that lovely stuff. So yeah, that just about covers the R&D system. If you have any questions, let me know, either via the Team Trek Yard's forums or on the Team Trek Yards Facebook page. And until next time, happy tracking, happy crafting, and I'll see you out there.